my mom's in there doing the dishes and stuff, and they come out of the house on the porch and whatever, and all their friends are standing around and they're doing all this crazy stuff. I can't really judge a whole lot. When I was first getting into wrestling, up until I started doing deathmatch, I thought it was stupid. Because you'd see these guys get in a shopping cart and shove a guy off the roof or something.
Right.
Okay, well, when you get into deathmatch, that's what they do. that's what they do now.
Oh. So this is what we're doing today.
So now I can't really judge a whole lot about backyard wrestling. And even some indie shows when I first started, they would call it not wrestling, but outlaw wrestling.
That's what we call it. We're like, well, we've got such and such tonight. We're going to wrestling tonight.
the redneck terminology of wrestling. And a lot of indie shows, because they be in like these weird, awkward places. Now, starting out, every once in a while you luck out and you catch one that has a show at the Armory. And that's always been, Armories has always been a big thing. But then you have, like I wrestled in a place, awesome building, awesome promotion. I can't remember what it was called. It was when I first started out. Awesome guys, good group of guys. And it was an old cotton gym. All they done was just took the equipment and stuff out of there and put a ring in it and throw some chairs in it. It still had that musty, dingy, whatever. And then you have places where you wrestle at a bar. That's it. It's very comedic. Because usually by the time, like the place I wrestled at in Anniston, they used to rent out our ring to, it's closed now, but they used to rent out a ring to a bar called City Limits. They had like a hip hop place upstairs, and then like your standard bar scene downstairs. And they would do.
Alcohol and wrestling doesn't seem like it would mix well.
It has its whatevers. Now, there's some guys that likes to partake in what we would call, the term gimmick has many different terminology. Because you would say, like, if you're having a hardcore match or a death match or whatever, they would call the stuff you're using gimmicks. Or your costume and your persona. That's your gimmick. Okay, well, when I started out, gimmicks was drugs, pot, coke, stuff like that. And there's times, like I got a scar from a guy who believed in, apparently the only way that he could wrestle was if he was messed up. Like he was all the time. You could scrape his sweat and get 190 proof Everclear off of it. So, I mean, but.
Oh my gosh.
But,
I thought I was going to say, wrestling and alcohol doesn't.
Well, the bar thing, it's okay, and to a certain degree, because, the bar that I wrestled at, I grew up around a family that, the family, it was pretty much the dad, but the family was in a biker club. I don't know if they're still around, but they used to be based out of Anniston and somewhere else. They were called the Devil's Disciples. And they were part owner or had a hand in this bar.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're not going to be really that much stupid running around being drunk or whatever when you got a bunch of big biker guys. Like a good buddy of mine, his name was Anthony, and his name was Reaper.
Okay.
And he had that. He had that full on, like 24/7. Like I've been in the dude's house, and 24/7 he has that full on scary biker persona. And I remember he always had a sheath on his belt that had a halfway open buck knife, where he could reach back there, and when he pull it out, he would click and lock in place.
Oh, wow.
And he done all the music, and there was a couple of guys that done the bouncing the front door, and Reaper's wife was the bartender.
Okay.
And I think the owner's name was Johnny or something like that actually owned the building. And we done where I wrestled at, rented him out the ring, and they do like tough man.
Okay.
And there was a lot of downtime. And he was like, well, I need something to try to fill this. To, because everybody will come in and see a little bit and think it's over with and they'll leave. And all the guys they were 4 or 5 of us that would go up and set the ring up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, we're all wrestlers. Why don't you let us wrestle in between? He's like, well, I can't pay y'all or nothing like that. And I was like, oh, I know. He's like, because the only money is the money the guys put in for the tough man, and they get the pot at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we went and done that, and they loved it. Like, they ate it up. So then he started doing Tough Man on one night, and then he would have a wrestling show.
Yeah.
It was basically what we were doing down the street, because we were like 8 blocks from where our actual wrestling building was at. So we'd go up there, set the ring up and everything, and
Gotcha.
we do wrestling shows. And sometimes it's pretty comedic, because you get a guy up there drinking and whatever, and you have a heel heckling him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets mad, and he's all stumbling around, falling around, trying to, act like a badass. And he's like stupid, staggering drunk. But the downside of that is I was younger, and Johnny got to where he would run us a tab that we never had to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
That's not a tab.
No. Actually, the first time he started doing that, I was supposed to start at a job, like shoot job, the next morning. No, it was my last day. That's what it was. We done all our stuff in the office, all our class stuff, and we were supposed to go on the floor that day and started working. And the bar stayed open pretty late, and he was like, as long as you're here on the days you're doing wrestling, just drink. Don't be stupid, but drink. Well, I was friends with Reaper and his wife. His wife's name was Tinkerbell, because she was like this tall.
Oh.
She's a little bit, and she's mean. Like she
They are.
she
It's
would.
small, they are.
She was the only person that I ever seen Reaper back down to. Like she would, like Spider Monkey, crawl up on him. I mean, she kept him in check, and because we were friends, and the family that I knew, me and the daughter, kind of had stuff going for a lot of years. We were friends,
Gotcha.
right? So, but like I grew up around, and come to find out, where Reaper lived at was close to where I lived at, and Reaper and my granddad were buddies. Found this out because her and her kids came and spent Christmas with me one year, and we went to Reaper's house. And I walk in, and now it probably wouldn't be as bad because I'm older, but I was in my early 20s, and we pull up at this house, regular, just standard house like here, and you walk in, and it's full on bikers. And like now, biker pun, I really like Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We go to their house. I have a Sons of Anarchy pullover on.
Oh no.
And I walk in. Now, mind you, when I walk in, they're watching this on TV. They're watching Sons of Anarchy on TV. Okay. And this is what's on TV when we walk in. All right. All right. Well, I walk in, and I've got this Sons of Anarchy pullover on, and it's instantly just razor blade eyes on me when I walk in the door.
You poser.
Yes, that's how it was.
Yes.
That's how they looked at it. And Reaper comes out of the back, and I said, "Hey, aren't you Anthony?" And he cocked his head like, "You don't." Yeah, I didn't see how I was.
No government names.
Yeah, you don't do real names. Well, I was looking at the fact of that's how my granddad knew him. Because he worked at a mechanic shop that my granddaddy was a 4-wheel drive place, and that's where my granddad, if he couldn't fix it himself, he'd take it to them, and Anthony was the guy that worked there. So we started talking, and Reaper, caught on who it was. That was a bad thing, especially in a room full of bikers, because he was like, "You like to drink?" Because my granddad, it wasn't Canadian Mist, it was Canadian Leap. It's like the leftover bull crap. From when they make it, like you pour this stuff on the ground and he eats a hole in the ground, and my granddad could drink it straight. Like it nasty stuff. You
Yes.
smell it and you want to puke. So he was like, "You want something to drink?" Sure. What you got? He came over and he said a bottle of Jack Daniels down in front of me. It's like a half a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he says, "Well, I'll tell you what. If you can drink this," and he was testing me, of course, and he was fucking with me because I was there with his. It was his niece. Lonnie was his niece or cousin or something, and he was, doing the daddy with a gun thing.
Right. Being protected.
Right. So he sets this bottle down in front of me, and he's like, "Well," he said, "little man, I'll give you two choices." He said, "You can either drink this bottle, or we're going to kick your ass." And of course, Tinkerbell's in the kitchen, and she comes running out, and she comes running out. She's like, "Honey, leave that boy alone. He ain't done nothing." He said, "He's a nice guy. If he wasn't a nice guy, Lonnie," because Lonnie was gorgeous. God. If a guy goes on a computer and makes up like weird science, makes up a chick, that's who Lonnie. And it's one of them. She was a motorcycle mechanic too, but it was one of them. She'd have like a sports bra or a wife beater or something, and like some real high Daisy Dukes and some biker boots, and that's how she worked.
Okay.
And just knocked down gorgeous. But I watched her drag her ex-husband out and whoop him more than probably any man whooping another man.
Okay.
Like full-blown fist up against the wall, like she was a beast. But as I sat there, I was like, "No, it's cool. It's cool." So my ego hit me, and it registered in my head, "Jamie, you're going to drink this bottle of Jack Daniels, or you're going to puke." No, I done decided. I was past the getting beat up part.
Okay.
I'm going to prove myself now. I'm going to be all like, "Oh yeah." So she said, "Okay." So she walks over. She got me a Coke out of the refrigerator, and she said, "Here, drink this with it. He's not going to say anything to you, baby. I promise." Oh, it progressed, and I drank the bottle of Jack Daniels. Blah, 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 and we were cool after that. Matter of fact, when I explained to him after the fact who I was, one of the times before I went to their house, we were at City Limits, and he got in the ring, and we were joking around. And me and him started wrestling around or whatever, and I tied him up, and I took his knife from him while we were in the ring.
No, you don't.
Like, we rolled around, and I got him, and we were joking around, both of us, and neither one of us was serious. We was rolling around or whatever, and I got behind him, and I pulled his knife out, and I was like, "Ha ha!"
Yeah. He was like,
And he was like, "You little mother!" And I was like, "Don't leave yourself exposed,
Right. And of course, that's just a little bit of a
Well,
respect level.
When that was before I went to his house, so after the Jack Daniels thing, and then me explaining to him,
Who you are.
we done this, he's like, "Oh man, brother, well, I'm so sorry. How are you doing? This is blah, 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 blah. This is their wives, blah, 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 blah." After that, we were straight.
We're talking about his persona.
Yeah.
The Reaper.
Yeah.
He was the Reaper.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're about to ask. I really don't have one. Like,
So how much
like,
of yourself?
like gimmick, I wear what is suitable for me to wear to do what I do in the ring, if that makes sense. Like my
It's like
short,
your uniform.
well, okay, like I wear shorts, and my shorts are made up like MMA shorts. They're baggy, they're comfortable, they're easy to move. You can.
They have a flex to it.
Yes, then I have like what y'all see is my yellow and black.
Yes.
Most of my stuff's all black because it's easy to match up to black. But like I've had a blue outfit before. I've got another one that's a red, and I've got two now because I've been really leaning on the yellow. So like my deathmatch stuff, I actually have another pair. I'm from Canada. So a buddy of mine's wife made me a pair of shorts. It's got yellow trim on it, and it's got yellow maple leaves on it.
Oh, cool.
And it was just kind of like my backup pair. Like if I was going somewhere and I just really didn't want to, like it was a dingy place or whatever, I'd wear those. That way if something happened, I'm not messing up my expensive gear.
Gotcha.
So I've got those and a pair of yellow kick pads, and my symbol that I have that's on the side of my tights and it's on the side of my shorts, and what's on my shirt, it's, it's a, 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 it's Well, I'll tell you the story behind the symbol in a second, but that's my emblem.
Okay.
So I have that on my stuff, and I wear the yellow most of the time because nobody really wears yellow. I try to do your music makes you stand out because everybody's going to have different music.
Right.
Okay. Your wrestling, it's going to stand out because even if you have a whole bunch of high flyers, you're going to have guys that can do certain things that other ones can't. And technical wrestlers, you're going to have guys that go different ways with it. And then you have guys that have more experience or different abilities or was taught different ways.
Okay.
Like I can do what I can do lucha
Okay.
or American, which is right side, left side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because mostly when they teach you to do it, they teach you to do everything left side. Okay, well, lucha, they do everything right side. So I've wrestled enough with the guys that I learned to, I'm eclectic
Okay.
when it comes to wrestling. I believed it would be better to pick from everything and make my own stew instead of just taking.
Okay. Instead of just having like your basic 5 moves, you'd rather have a good couple.
Okay, well, it works better. A lot of guys, they'll stick to a certain, and they'll have like a repertoire of stuff, but they stick to a certain thing no matter who they're working. Big guy, little guy, high flyer, whatever. Well, I change mine up depending on who I wrestle. Like I'll wrestle a guy my size and we're about the same. Well, when you watch that match and watch me do stuff, and then I'll wrestle a bigger guy, it's 2 totally different worlds. It's like 2 different people. Because I change what I'm doing to match who I'm in the ring with. Instead of, but that, it kind of falls back into it's like my own thing, but I change my moves and my style to match what I'm going up against.
Okay.
But
well, that would make more sense to kind of meet your opponent
right.
on even kill.
It makes it easier. It's a dance. That's what it is. And you don't want to have a street dancer with a country line dancer.
Yeah.
Their styles are not going to mesh. So I take bits and pieces from each one to manipulate my style yes. And my gear now reflects on that.
Okay.
So since I gained some weight and I'm a little conscious about it, I still wear the singlet, but now I have a shirt that I've got cut and whatever so I can move around in it, and it's self-advertisement because it's got my name on it, my emblem and all that. Like my vest, on the back of it, it's got my emblem, it's got my name on it, and my vest rolls towards like the biker stuff. You know, they're cuts. Okay. Actually, there was a guy I done a show a little while back, and one of the guys that was running it, he's in a club, and they came in and my vest was laid on the floor. You don't do that.
No.
Okay. The guy come in, one of the guys that's with him, and said something to me. It's like, that's not a cut, is it? And I knew what he meant by the terminology of the biker side of it. And I was like, no. I said, no, it's just my vest, and I've got my wrestling stuff on. He looked at me, I was like, oh, I know, the vest ain't supposed to, it's not supposed to touch the ground. I know this. Yeah. I was like, no, that's just part of my gear. Yeah. And I pulled it up and I showed him because what I've done is I took a vest that my daddy gave me, and I cut it, I cut it in 3 pieces. And stitched it back together, you see the biker vest, it's got the leather, the leather string going down the sides.
Laces, yeah.
Yeah, the laces, okay. So I went to, I think it was either Hobby Lobby or Walmart one, and bought some leather laces.
Yeah.
And I went and bought a eyelet kit and a punch, and I bought a stud punch so you can do buttons. And then I got on
spikes.
Yeah, those come from Wish. Those come from Wish. All the spikes that are on it, and a good majority of the patches that are on it come from Wish.
Now you throw your fist up in the air. When you hit where does that come from?
Okay, 2 things. It's first of it was I was in a group and it was called Omega Virus, and that was what they done. It's a defiance. Okay. like how black folks will do the black power thing. Okay, it's a
Yes.
defiance thing. Okay, the other part of it is disturbed. 10,000 fists in the air, for
Mhm.
example. It's a defiance thing. So,
Oh, there you go. So
I started doing it with the Omega virus, and it just kind of stuck. And I still like you watch TV now and you see the wrestlers will come out and the crowd's singing their song.
Mhm.
Okay, well, you come out and you do the fist in the air, people, associate it with you, so they like you, so they do the same thing. It's like them cheering for you.
Well, see, I will admit, when I first saw you come out, I was like, oh, okay. He's going to be stiff. He's going to be, he's not going to be able to do a lot. Well, the guy that you were up against, he was cocky, he was arrogant.
You remember who it was?
I think it was a guy out of Mississippi. He was a black gentleman.
Yes.
He
The one
was
where
just
you
mean.
puked in the floor after,
Yes, I was gonna
after your chokehold.
Absolutely choked
And hadn't been
him
back
out.
since.
I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw that man
It got
cheer.
to. Well, there was a lot that went into that. He shows up, young guy, real good. He's good,
Yeah.
but he is arrogant, like he wouldn't believe.
You could tell the arrogance in him.
And maybe Shane won't hear this. If he does, sorry.
That gentleman has not been back.
He was told not to come back.
Okay.
He was told not to come back. Shane,
he drinking?
Nope. No, he's straight edge. He might smoke pot. I've just heard it. I've just smelt it and heard the talk of it. I've never really seen him. Yeah, which everybody nowadays pretty much does that anyway. So, but
he just seemed very vocal.
yes.
And
Well,
more
it's because
obnoxious
I
than
went
I
in. The
would
way I like to do stuff is if it's somebody that I've never met before, because now we have access to the wonderful internet.
Yeah.
Is I'll go in and look a guy up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give me a general idea of what I'm getting into, like what they know how to do, so that way I'm not just some idiot going in and we're having to sit here like
It's like a football coach.
yes,
Having
right,
to go back and
watching
look at
videos.
Videos that people
Yes.
prepared his people for.
So I went in and started watching stuff on him and watching his promos and watching his matches, and a lot of stuff was because he looked pretty and could move around or whatever. It was handed to him.
Okay.
I could be wrong with that. That's just a personal observation. All right. Well, our promoter kind of took a liking to him, and they were just like, "Here," and I was like, "There's dudes that's been here, like me. I've wrestled for them over 10 years, or right at it. And there's young guys here that's trying, and that's the only place they wrestle at. This guy can care less about this show. He's just there for himself."
Yeah.
That's another reason why I go back to where I was talking about a regular running show. When you have a stable of guys that do a show on a regular basis, it's like a family. It's like a club. They care more about the show because they know as the shows progress, they will. Instead of just, you have somebody that travels around and goes from show to show to show.
Mhm.
They're there just for themselves. They're going to go in the ring, do whatever, get their money and go. And whatever happens to that show when they're not there, they don't care about it.
Right. You can tell who's going to stick around
Right.
for a while and who's just there
Right.
for the moment.
So,
So, not going to be back for a second show or a third.
We started doing Shane wanted us to do a thing. So we started going through, we had a series of matches. I think we done 3 or 4. So we did once a month. So that's, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And we had, we set it up one night, and then we had I had a title, he had a title. It was supposed to have been whoever wins, like Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior type deal. Whoever wins gets both belts. Yes. So as it progressed along, we had different matches with different step ups. Like it was one of the matches I got from Tommy Dreamer and Sandman in ECW. It was back when that guy, there was a kid that was in Singapore that got caught stealing. And they believe in public corporal punishment, or they did.
Mhm.
Yes.
So they took the dude out and strapped him up, and what we call kendo sticks in Singapore cane.
Yes.
And to them, it's like how we got sugar cane and stuff that throws around. Okay, well, theirs is like that.
Mhm.
They use them for water pipes, whatever. And That's what they would beat prisoners with.
Mhm.
Like you see the Japanese where they're like,
Yeah,
okay,
I've
that's-
seen the public.
that's where it all come from. Well, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman started incorporating that because it was different and it was violent. And Tommy Dreamer's been one of my favorites for a while, and I like the way the Sandman carried himself. And there was one of the matches they had where Tommy Dreamer lost, and he had to get 10 lashes.
Mhm.
So he grabs the ropes and he gets beat with a kendo stick.
Mm.
Okay, well, one of the matches that me and him had was whoever loses gets 10 lashes.
Yep.
Well, I big boyed it and I lost. So I pulled my shirt off,
Hold it again.
pulled my singlet off. I mean, no excuse. And I'm thinking, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right.
Right.
So we got in, and there's a picture of it. So I've got a picture of it in my phone somewhere. But you can see the cuts and whelps
Mhm.
from all 10. Like I took all
I was gonna
10.
say, please send it to me.
I will. I'll send it to you.
Because I hope you don't mind. I did go on your social and pull some photos.
Well, there's a lot of. I'll send you some of the newer ones that I've got because a lot of the ones that's on there, I hadn't put stuff on there,
Okay.
and I don't know how long.
But you took your shots.
Yeah, I took my 10. I even cussed him out and called him a pussy afterwards.
Well, that was one thing that impressed me about you because, like I said, I had looked at you a certain way. You know, as a person going in, I'm like, oh, well, okay. But you see this other guy, he's very arrogant, he's running his mouth. And I was very much like,
now,
oh, I hope
I'll
you
tell you
teach
the
me a
I'll tell you the
lesson.
shoot story after this.
Yeah, I was like, I hope you teach me a
I'll tell you the
And
real
did.
shoot story after this. I don't really believe because I know young guys have got young guys have to learn, and I don't believe that they ought to be stretched or beat on for not knowing. There's a difference in being ignorant and arrogant and just not knowing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Is there anybody, like you've got your match tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to be in Russellville.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Like this is
yeah.
going to be a great night.
Well, I've had. It's not really advertised who I'm working with, but anyway, I've done a little bit with this guy, and what I like to do is now there's a guy named Jay Blake, and me and him, we could both be hog-tied in a wheelchair together
Mhm.
and still pull off a match. We work each other so much.
Yeah.
There's another part that goes along with that too in just a second. I like wrestling guys. Like if I go somewhere and just show up and there's somebody there I know,
Mhm.
I know I can go in and have a good match because if you have a good match, you'll come back. Now, wrestling in Russellville, I like to go to the locker room. Because I can say I've almost wrestled at some time or another. I've wrestled every